This is one of my favorite healings tonight, so thanks for joining me. It's on your receiving channels, and I'm going to explain to you how I do the healing because you might want to do it for yourself at home after you get the healing tonight. So I thought of this healing when I used to teach my class called Creative Genius, because what I realized was that your mock-ups can come back to you basically 360 degrees around you. In other words, your mock-ups don't always have to come back to you straight up. You might get a mock-up from somebody that you completely didn't expect to get a mock-up from, and they might come at you from behind, so to speak, energetically. So what I did was I thought about this concept of being able to receive 360 degrees around you and developed what I call the receiving room. So it's a round circular room that vibrates at gold. And instead of there being walls around the round room, it's doorway, 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 doorway. Each doorway represents one of your receiving channels. So this allows me to go and look at a room and see how many of those doorways are open or closed right now, and whether or not the room itself is set at gold. Why that's important is because when you are creating your mock-ups, generally you'll hear me talk to you about create your mock-ups in a good energy vibration, because you need to be at that same high energy vibration for your mock-up to come back to you. So that's why the receiving room is brought up to gold, so that your energy is at a high vibration, and the mock-up at whatever vibration you created it at can come back to you because your receiving space is set at gold. So those are the basic components of the receiving channel healing tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and set the energy with a prayer to start. And then after I clean out like our generic receiving channel room, then I'm going to go back in and do check the receiving channels for 3 specific areas. 1 is money. That's right. 2 is love. And 3 is just your basic abundance. So let's get started. As we cleanse and heal the temple of the soul, may it be with the blessing of divinity, that it shine its countenance upon us and bring us peace in body, mind, and spirit. Amen. Okay, so the first part of this healing is I'm going to take a look at your receiving room, and we're going to get that vibration up to gold to start with. So what I'm doing is taking a look at the round receiving room, and I'm putting like a jumbo giant tube grounding cord underneath the whole circumference of the receiving room. There's 2 things that I see immediately when I go to ground the receiving room. And the first is that there's a streak of anger in there, because like anger at not being able to receive, anger at the stuck energy in there and not knowing what that stuck energy is. And then the other thing is how many mock-ups are stuck in there. So like I also see like a lot of roses, mock-up roses ready to be let go, but because the energy is stuck in there, they're just sitting there. So we're going to correct all of that in the healing. So much frustration and anger about not being able to receive when you really want to receive. And as I'm watching the energy come out, I'm just going to reiterate what I said earlier about not being able to receive sometimes when your energy is not of a high enough vibration for that mock-up to come back to you. And so that's a lot of the frustration that I see coming out of the receiving room. And there's some brown energy and some dark green energy that's hanging from the ceiling down in the receiving room. Like it's the gold in the receiving room is actually growing from the floor up. So I'm grounding the that dark green. That's a lot of jealousy. There's the competition that comes at you when you want to receive something. That's that dark green that's hanging up right underneath the ceiling of the room. Okay, and then as that releases, the next thing underneath that that's showing up is like a demand for time. Like when you're wanting to receive your mock-up, if you get into that space of demanding it, like where is it? When is it coming? Why hasn't it come yet? That actually pushes the mock-up out. So that is another frustration in the receiving room. Good. The receiving room is coming up to gold. I'm waiting until the whole room is at gold before I start looking at the doorways. There's some purple in the middle of the floor that's coming out, but we're getting a really nice yellow gold up the walls of the room, well, the walls that are the doorways. So that's great. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now I'm going to check to see what doorways are open. What we want is all of the doorways open because a doorway represents a way for you to receive something that you've mocked up. So we want that doorway wide open for you. And I'll tell you what I see as I work on the room. There's some fear that is getting in the way of some of the doorways, blocking the doorways. I'm trying to see what that fear is. It's weird. It's like it's fear of not getting what it is that you want. So let me try to explain this. There's so much energy sometimes on you wanting to get what it is that you're mocking up that that actually gets in the way of it. It's another energy that pushes the mock-up out into future time. So let me clear that. Good, that's starting to release. Okay, there are a number of doors that are closed. So now what I'm doing, and I'm telling you this so that if you want to do this at home, you can do it. I'm putting individual grounding cords underneath the threshold of each of the doorways to see if we can ground the energy that is keeping the doorway closed. Now, in some cases, it's going to be beings. Sometimes it might be a healing agreement or pain picture, energy. I'm going to go around now and see what's cooking. So the first thing I notice are control beings, and everybody's got a few. They could be family control beings. They could be control beings from your work, But that's the first level that I see, are control beings that want to keep you at the vibration that you are controllable by. How do you like that? So there's no the beings do not want you to raise your energy vibration and to evolve by getting your mock-ups. So I'm going to clear some beings out of the doorways. A lot of family competition coming out. And I notice, especially for receiving money, where family members get jealous of other family members when they receive money. Taking some cords out, where people will try to cord your receiving room to get information from you, how you do it, or also to, in hopes of partially receiving something from you when you get what it is that you mocked up. There's a really nice certainty blue coming into the receiving room too, which is very much in affinity with that yellow gold. I'm moving a couple of family members out of doorways, as well as like ex-partners, romantic partners. And then there's a lot of, and this is still in the category of competition, but a lot of judgment is what I'm seeing getting thrown at the doorways. Also, like things like, you can't do that, you don't deserve that. So I guess that's all judgment. The good news is that energy is on the outside of the door, so it's not in the receiving room itself. I just saw something really cool. As this room is opening up, it's allowing you to start thinking about things that you might like to receive, where you weren't even thinking about that before because the energy was stuck. So I just saw a lot of new ideas start coming about in the receiving room. And I also want to make sure that I help you let go of the mock-ups that had been stuck in there. Good. A lot of disillusionment is coming out of the receiving room, and like disillusionment of thinking that you can't get your mock-ups, where they haven't come back to you the way that you've set them up to. So this is good. Getting rid of disillusionment. The doors are starting to open, and what I love about the receiving room that I'm looking at, which is a collective of everybody's, is that the doors are really, really, really tall, and the doors are all gold. So that's very cool. There's even some really pretty music going on in the receiving room. That's very cool. Kind of like angelic music. Okay. All right. The receiving room looks great. I'm going to bring a great big gold sun into the receiving room. You know, if you just did that once a week, that was what, 15 minutes? You would be cooking because, and I mean that in the best possible way. I mean, like cooking with your mock ups, because that would be a great way for you to clean out that space for them to get back to you in. Once a week, 15 minutes. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is take a look at your receiving in your money space, your ability to receive money. The first thing I see is control energy from bosses, people that you work for. And to some extent, I also see control energy from spouses. Oh, this is good. There's this grainy red-brown energy that is a vibration of where you kind of give in to other people's energy dominating your money space. So it's a level of what's the word I'm looking for? Like where you just give up or give in and allow somebody else to be senior in that space. And the color is actually the color of my shirt that I'm wearing tonight. And it's gritty and grainy. I'm going to get that out there. Then the next thing I notice is that there are beings in the money space. So I'm going to move them out because it's starting to bounce around. And I'm going to move the government out because when you receive money, the government gets right in there right away. They want their piece of that too. So let me ground that out. And I'm going to ground out other people that sit in your receiving room waiting for you to mock up money because they want a piece of it. So I want to take that, show you where they are so you can clear them out. And I will say this, some of you have a lot more people waiting in your receiving room for you to create for them than others. So some of you have a lot of people waiting for you to do things for them. That money space is turning to a beautiful peachy. It's a cross between a peachy and an apricot gold. Okay, I'm going to fill that in with a sun. That's good. I like that. That energy shifted really nicely in your money space. And then the next one is love, your ability to receive love. So there's some like self-deprecation coming out that looks like it's from trauma that affects your ability to receive love. That's a dark energy that's coming out. Okay, here's what I see. A lot of you have mock-ups to receive love that are out and about, and they're kind of floating around, waiting for you to get yourself to the right energy vibration to be able to have them. So a lot of that, again, has to do with you being able to get your body to the vibration that you were in when you created that mock-up to have love. And as I help you ground this space, there's so much joy coming in. And I see there's like almost a yearning for it because of all the time that we spent in COVID, not being around other people or touching other people. I just see that that's a space of yearning for love right now. Again, there's some competition that affects receiving love, jealousy and competition. And what I notice is when the space is made safe for love, a lot of you start eliciting some of your more youthful vibrations. Like I just see all of this really sweet, youthful love, bright yellow gold, enthusiasm, and the joy that I was saying I could see coming in. It's very sweet vibration. Okay, I'm going to bring a great big gold sun into that space, receiving your love. That felt really good. Okay. And now the last space is you're receiving channels to receive abundance, or I should say to receive abundantly. And there's a very well-defined picture in there from many of you that says, I can only receive so much. It's like a limitation picture. Like, I can only receive this much, whatever that much is. I'm seeing this picture in the third chakra in your solar plexus. Clearing pictures of lack. Also pictures of deserving. I heard the statement like, well, who am I? Like, who am I to deserve anything coming out? Wow, I'm seeing this very clearly. There is a row of about 6 beings trying to block the abundance coming in. They're all gray. They kind of line up like they might know each other. So give me a moment here. Let me deal with the gang of 6. So these are control beings, and what I'm gathering from all of this, this communication is that when you move into an abundant vibration, what they're telling me is that you become very powerful, that you really can just keep moving forward. That was their pictures. Like, there's no stopping somebody when they're abundant. And so they were control beings trying to control that space. Got maybe one left to go. So that was a nice hello to that you can just set your crown chakra to abundance when you go to do your mock-ups. Just be at that vibration of abundance. And that's a very powerful state. Good. You're bringing in lots of abundance now. And at least the way that I see it tonight is a really deep, rich blue-green. Cool. All right. I'm going to gather up your energy and fill you in and fill in your abundance space. Yeah, that abundance space is staying that rich blue-green, and you are filling in with a really bright yellow gold tonight. All right. May it be with the blessing of divinity that this receiving channel healing tonight in the sanctuary be complete. Amen. Wow, good job. The energy looks fantastic. So you know what I'm going to tell you is it would be a great night if you have a few minutes to sit down and do a mock-up or two, because your energy is really good. Your receiving doors are open. So that's my suggestion. And I'll just remind you what we have coming up next week. I know I'm doing a healing again next week on your healing energy. So I'm going to clean out your healing energy next Tuesday night. Then I go up to Moraga the next day. So then I will see you from up north. We have a Seek and You Will Find on Monday the 18th. And then my women's intuition class this month is on the creative rings, which is where all of your creative ideas get generated from. So, and then Body Beautiful this month is Pleasure in the Body. And that will be on Tuesday the 26th. So that's what's coming up. And I hope you have a great evening tonight. Got my eyes on you. And I will see you next week for your healing energy. Okay, good night. Have a good night's sleep.